I'm Sebastian. I led the digital transformation at Meijer, and most recently led the digital transformation and omnichannel marketing at Casey's. When I joined Casey's, which was about 5 years ago in 2018, it's interesting to reflect back, but at that time we had 300,000 customer records in our database. 300,000, and when I left 5 years later, we had 17 million records unified in a CDP, and we were doing personalization, et cetera. And so that was an exciting journey. And if you think about how it all started, we were one of the first 6 clients to pilot the Salesforce CDP. And over the next 3 years or so, we scaled it from very simple use cases to much more complicated use cases to driving personalization. But I believe at the core of putting a digital transformation, moving it forward, is your first-party data. So organizing the data, unifying the data, et cetera, all of that was critical for us.
What are the capabilities and features that you think a CDP and organizations need to actually truly have success with these kind of customer data projects?
Is it scalable, right? Does it have the infrastructure to be able to handle velocity? Segmentation on the fly and pushing messages out without crashing a mobile app. I'd say real time, right? And as you mature in a CDP journey, in your overall digital transformation journey, having data in real time becomes extremely critical. I think the third thing I would say is this idea of flexibility. So if there's any brand in the room or listening to this that is thinking about installing a CDP, I would challenge you to make sure that you're thinking about flexibility and not locking yourself in. So what I mean by that is, I'm a believer that a CDP is at the heart of your digital transformation and your overall marketing tech stack. You want to be able to choose which ESP am I using, which DAM am I using? Which CMS am I using? How do I integrate with the website, et cetera?
When you think back on some of the things that you did, and now maybe some of the things, if you were to do it again, you might do differently.
I've led RFPs at major organizations, and it's time consuming. It requires a whole lot of time that we don't have. It requires resources, and it's a delay of getting the value. But I think that there are plenty of resources available to us as leaders, whether it be Gartner Magic Quadrant, reaching out to your Forrester researchers. And if I were to do this again, I'd take a good look at resources available and maybe create a short list. The other thing that, as I've reflected on my experience, I think launching POCs, proof of concepts, is a big factor to helping an organization make a decision. And when you build a proof of concept, that doesn't mean it needs to be perfect to the T. That means you need to take the solution and get it into an environment where you can really get a feel for the use cases, for the value.
So when you're talking to retailers these days, what are some of the CDP use cases that you think are getting most used or at least most talked about?
Over the last several years in my last role, it was important to me that marketers could segment our customer base on the fly. So we could easily look at our customer base of 17 million records and identify those that have shopped between the hours of 6 a.m. and 10 a.m., bought a breakfast sandwich, but not a coffee. Marketer could create a segment, we could develop an offer, only to those that receive the offer through an app push. So to me, that's a very simple use case of segmenting your customer base and driving action. That little campaign, if executed properly, when you bake in the costs and you look at the net margin of it, can pay for a quarter of the implementation of the technology. Another one is channel send optimization. If groups of people are receiving both an SMS and an email, but never opening the email, but interacting with the SMS, then let's turn off that channel, save our dollars and our resources, and deploy it towards SMS. I used to sell a lot of pizza. Pizza's a big business, and we would have a promotion like a single topping pizza promotion. And believe it or not, the hero image on an email or a banner ad makes a lot of difference to garner visual attention. And so we could look at the data to say who was purchasing pepperoni versus sausage, differentiate the messaging that's going out to both. And if I take it a step further, when I use the term real time, we can tell looking at open rate, because the message could sit in your email box for a day or 2 days, which visual is deriving the highest open rate. And for unopened emails, we can swap out the visual.
When you think back over the last kind of 5 years and you think back or you think forward, look forward for the next 5, what are some of the key features that either you wish you had in a CDP, in your tech stack?
You know, because I was in the early days, there were a lot of things that we wanted early on that we couldn't get. I would say that real time continues to be top of mind. And if you're a retailer or brand in the room or listening to this, you have to be in real time. And it's not just about competing against the other retailer who's in real time. Consumers just expect everything in real time.